Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, and I'm joined yet again by my.
How's it going? Hey, how's it going, everybody?
uh my friend TheRedWolf, my friend Denzel, and we are back here with another One Piece arc review for your Sunday night or whenever you're checking out this video. And I'm having a pretty good day today. Clippers won, so we're advancing in the playoffs. So yes. And two, I'm even more excited to be talking about one of my favorite arcs, if not in my top five favorite arcs of One Piece, the Alabasta arc, which is the gigantic climax to this saga where, man, there is just a lot of things that happen in this arc that catch you emotionally. You just like I just can't explain it. I love this arc for the emotion, the really epic moments we get here, and then the villain. It's like one of it's not the Alabasta arc isn't perfect, but it's perfect.
Oh, really? The only reason why you like the Alabasta arc is how hot BB is.
No, a partial reason, but I like this arc because of what we got here in this arc. Crocodile. Probably at this point in the story, the most intimidating One Piece villain we have gotten thus far. Um, as well as just the story. And like I said, all these emotional moments wrapped up into one here, it really brings it all, which ends up being one of my favorite arcs. Honestly, is in my top five. And honestly, it might even be in my top three favorite arcs of One Piece as a whole. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, you ready to talk about Alabasta?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So let's get to it. Now, I forgot to mention this in my past arc review, um, but I guess I can mention this since it segues into Alabasta. Um, so after Luffy and the others leave Drum Island, this one common folk comes up to Dalton and says, "Hey, you know that Luffy's like a pirate with a bounty." And Dalton's like, "Really now?" Um, and the thing is, we find out is some man was apparently looking for Luffy, and right now he said to meet up with Luffy in Alabasta if they would ever see Luffy. So when I was first watching this, I'm like, is this gonna be like another Baroque Works officer or some trouble? What did you think when you first saw that?
Uh, I honestly, I don't know what I didn't know what to expect. I'm just like, okay, what does this mean?
Okay. So, anyways, in the meantime, which if you watch the anime, you get some filler episodes here and there, but more than likely, we see that the crew is starting to get into the region of Alabasta. Um, and essentially, what happens is, and oh heck, I even forgot to mention this. Back on Little Garden, they actually get an eternal pose from what was left of Mr. Three. Now, an eternal pose is essentially a log pose that is directed straightly to a certain island or country or region, that is just locked on its magnetic pull. And they use that to get to Alabasta. So I forgot to mention that too. But anyways, I think that's all for any past art, you know, things that I can clean up, but stuff like that. So, anyways, they're entering the territory of Alabasta, and we actually see that there's this other Baroque Works member named Mr. Two who actually went to Little Garden because he was on a mission before he had to Alabasta to kill Mr. Three, which is pretty interesting because the thing in how Baroque works work is if you're an officer agent and I guess you fail your mission, you essentially are going to die for that. And that's pretty crazy scary. And it's like, well, then why would you even sign up to do this job anyways? If you know if you fail your mission, it's death regardless.
They were too overconfident.
I guess you can say that. Now, Mr. 2 didn't end up finding Mr. 3 because Mr. 3 obviously was hiding. Um,
Okay.
he eventually comes across Luffy's ship because they get lost in this, fog, and essentially ends up on Luffy's ship when they kind of reel him in off a fishing rod while they were fishing. Now, essentially what happens is Mr. 2 does not know that they are the enemies at all, and the Straw Hats don't know that Mr. 2 is an enemy until really he leaves the ship. And this is when we see Mr. 2 Devil Fruit power, which is the Mane Mane no Mi, which is the Japanese name of his Devil Fruit, but the English Devil Fruit name is the Clone Fruit. Essentially what he does in this scene is by touching Luffy, Chopper, Zoro, Usopp, and Nami, he's able to transform into them, essentially. And he retains all, go ahead.
Physical appearance.
Yeah, their physical appearance, their body-like structures, as he goes on to show Usopp, Chopper, and Luffy, Nami's enhancements. To say that that's a very interesting power to have if you're able to copy the ability of a girl. To say that you could potentially, the pervious guy would potentially probably touch themselves is an understatement. I will say that is perfect if that was somehow a real thing. The clone fruit was a real thing and devil fruits were real. Man, would that be good for like, I don't know, like tricking people on like them dating websites or catfishing people?
Just stop. Just stop.
What it'd be look, I'm just being honest. Wouldn't it not be the ultimate catfishing gimmick?
Don't give people ideas. Oh my god. There's
Well,
many.
okay. Now, anyways, Luffy is like, wow, that's really cool. Do you got any more faces you can show us? And he's showing more faces over and over and over until Vivi sees one interesting face, which by the time he leaves, his crew says, hey, Mr. 2, yada, 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 let's go. And then that's when they're like, Mr. 2? And then they ask Vivi, like, how did you not know that was Mr. 2? Now, the reason why Vivi doesn't know is the officer agents are apparently all secretive and nobody knows their real appearances and stuff like that. She only heard rumors when she was in Baroque works. But the thing that she was scared the most is the one face she was obviously like, that's bad, is the fact that she saw her own father's face as one of Mr. 2's transforming people. So it is interesting. So when you saw that, Denzel, what was like your levels of the fact that they must have met the king earlier than we thought they did?
What levels?
Well, like how crazy did you feel like the situation was even getting at that point? Now that you know that a bad guy can transform into her dad.
Oh my god. That means you can never trust anyone.
So, anyways, the thing is, what they do to not get tricked by Mr. 2 is, well, shockingly enough, Zoro comes up with the idea. Um, essentially, what he does is they have this wrap bandage, and by the time the arc ends, we see that they have an X mark on their forearms, which essentially will not have them be tricked by Mr. 2 if he, say, transforms into them and tries to trick them. So it was a pretty smart idea and stuff like that. But like I said, we didn't find out about the X till at the very, very end of this arc. All we knew is they just have a bandage. Now, when I was watching this for the first time, I was like, how is a bandage just going to stay on your arm this entire arc? Um, because what if it just, I don't know, falls off, you know? But it's later rectified by the end of the arc. Now, the moment they get to Alabasta, we already know that Alabasta is in a state of a civil war between the kingdom and the rebels. And essentially, the reason why is, which I'll get into later when it comes to the Koza and Vivi backstory with that stuff, and I'll explain that later. Another thing they also see is, since they know Baroque works is all going to Alabasta, they see these extra Baroque work ships that carry essentially millions and billions. Yeah, I don't know why they're just called that. I don't know what the difference between millions and billions are. It's just billions is much more than millions, but okay. They should have probably just called them infinities.
Yeah. No comment.
Anyways, as Vivi mentions, they're essentially like more backup squads or more Baroque work agents, just of lower kind and stuff like that. But essentially, it's like them having an entire army, and they're all gathering at Alabasta for the plan, or what Crocodile later calls Project Utopia.
Utopia, my butt.
So, anyways, they end up going to this one nice little city in Alabasta, and essentially they have to get supplies to get ready for their essentially voyage to get to the because BB's plan is to get to the rebel army's hideout and essentially talk them out of getting into war with the royal army and tell them everything that's been going on and the reason why this is all being set up. So they're getting their supplies, and Luffy does typical Luffy things, and he runs off without no hesitation because one, what
He's
is
hungry.
huh?
Because he's hungry.
Yep. He ends up running into this hut thinking that it's food, but then he uses this thing called dance powder and essentially makes a rain cloud. And we find out dance powder, which creates like artificial rain, essentially when you burn it, legal to use, or it's illegal by the world government to use, which is very interesting. But in the meantime, as he leaves that place, and as the gang gets all sort of new clothing designs, which are fit for the Alabasta design, or yeah, the Alabasta designs, you have Nami and Vivi look like they're wearing essentially belly dancer outfits. Not to say that I'm not a fan favorite, and I just go crazy over that. I know Sanji definitely did. And things like that. Another also an anime difference is compared to the manga is Chopper actually goes on his little adventure where he goes into one of the rebels like little, I guess you can say little carts, whatever, and that's when he runs and finds out more information about the rebel army and stuff like that. He eventually catches back up with them, but also in the meantime, while the others are looking for Luffy, they hear that guy that was looking for Luffy. So he later goes to this restaurant to go eat himself. Then more bad things happen because they all see well, first Zoro sees Tashigi, his rival that wants his frickin' swords, and because he's a pirate and a bounty hunter, and she doesn't like him, which also leads into them seeing Smoker. So Smoker eventually goes into this I guess you can say bar, essentially. Now, funny thing about this whole bar scene, I think this is an anime only scene as well. So you have the mysterious character eating, and he falls asleep, and everybody thinks he's dead. And then he wakes up again. Oh, for everyone's like, oh, he's not dead. And then he falls asleep again, and then everyone's like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh, I found that to be hilarious rewatching again. So, Smoker walks in, and Smoker already knowing, because actually Zoro makes a mention about this earlier about that tattoo on his back. So when Smoker sees him, uh, who does he identify him, Denzel, as?
Pirate Hunter Zoro?
No, the mysterious character who is you know who I'm talking about.
Ace.
Yes. So we get the revelation here that this new character's name is Portgas D. Ace, and he is in the Whitebeard Pirates, and he is the second division commander of the crew, which obviously is a pretty high ranking. So essentially, Luffy finding his way back into the city, literally like crashes into Ace and Smoker. And he starts eating. Then Smoker comes out of nowhere, and there's a chase scene going on. Now, the chase scene is different in the manga and the anime. But what essentially happens is when it looks like Luffy is going to get captured by Smoker, Ace actually shows up and saves the crew's life, essentially. And by using his devil fruit power, the flame fruit are its Japanese translation, the Mera Mera no Mi, which again, flame fruit.
Flare fruit to be exact.
It's called the flame fruit.
Flare.
I'm not gonna,
Whatever.
but nevertheless, it's called the flame fruit. That's the official English name. Um, anyways, he goes on to mention to Smoker, like, listen, fire and smoke, this is essentially a draw. So you're fighting a losing battle. And as Luffy and the others run away, the others ask Luffy, like, how do you know this guy? Well, what does he say, Denzel?
He's my brother.
And that's when we get shocked. Now, again, in the anime, the chase scene is, I guess you could say, further expanded, or it takes longer in the anime version because Luffy ends up getting lost again. He literally takes a wrong turn because he's looking at the Ace and Smoker fight, and he literally goes the opposite way the Straw Hats are going. But in the manga, they just all go back to the Going Merry, and Ace appears. That's when we get the whole thing when we see Ace take out them 7 Baroque work ships, which was pretty cool by using the first official Fire Fist, which is, I would probably say, is Denzel's favorite, one of Denzel's favorite One Piece moves.
Maybe, yeah.
Um,
I haven't used Ace that much in Pirate Warriors 4.
Now, this is when we get the reason why Ace is in Alabasta. Do you remember why he's in Alabasta again, Denzel?
He's looking for a man named Blackbeard.
Yes, and we find out Blackbeard is in his part of his, I guess you can say, his squadron on his pirate crew for the Whitebeard Pirates. And essentially, all Ace says is Blackbeard committed a crime that is literally essentially unforgivable and breaks all pirate code, which we find out is he killed one of his fellow crewmates in his crew. Now we later find out why he did that, but we're not going to speak more of Blackbeard. Also, I also forgot to mention Blackbeard essentially also attacked the Drum Kingdom, or attacked Drum Island as well. So I also forgot to mention that too. That's why he was looking. Now, like I said, this is where the anime and the manga versions take different paths. Now, in the anime version, you get a few filler episodes here and there, with Ace actually joining the crew for like a short time, like 4 episodes, and then he dips after finding out that Blackbeard, or after fighting this guy who acts like he defeated Blackbeard, but he's like, I never defeated Blackbeard. He didn't even come to Alabasta. And that's when Ace is like, okay, peace. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Now in the manga version, Ace dips literally after he takes care of the ships that got in Luffy's way. And essentially the thing he leaves Luffy with is this piece of paper, and he essentially tells Luffy, listen, just keep that paper on you because you might need it later. Now, me and Denzel know what that paper is about.
Mm-hmm.
Story purposes, and for you One Piece fans who are new to One Piece and watching, even though, hey, if you're not and you know what it is, we're just not going to say it because it's story purposes. But we know what the significance of that paper is.
And if you don't know what it is, what are you doing watching this video? Because I thought shouldn't you be caught up with One Piece?
Yes. Anyways, so Ace leaves, and we won't see him literally for another 4 or 5 arcs. Anyways, they eventually dock at this place. They actually run into these really cool sea kung fu otter type of thing. What did you think about these little animals? Before I actually ask you what's your thoughts on Ace when you first watched him.
Pretty much Robin's reaction to that drawing of a dragon in the Zord. Kawaii.
Okay. We're gonna talk a little bit about Ace and then stuff like that. Now, Ace, when I first saw him, I was like, okay, Luffy's brother. Luffy's brother. He seems pretty badass. He really does, and I like him already.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your initial thoughts when you first saw him for the first time in this anime?
Yeah, I really like him. Really, really, really. Okay, we'll stop.
Anything else you wanted to say about Ace, or are you good?
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
At least for the next, I don't know how many arcs.
Yeah, like 10 arcs, honestly. Anyways, after they dog and after they're done seeing the Kung Fu Sea Otters, I forgot what their official names were called anyways. Vivi actually gives Karu a note and tells Karu, go to Alabasta, which is the hometown or the home city of the entire royal army, the entire royal, where the royal palace is at, where she's essentially from. She tells him to go to the king, give this note, and which the note explains everything, what's going on about Baroque works and how you're all being duped and stuff like that, in an effort to try to probably ease tensions between the royal army and the rebel army, because then the royal army can be like, okay, so the rebel army isn't the freaking enemy for realsy. We're being tricked. We're being played here. So he goes on and he doesn't appear like legit till the final battle stuff. Now, in the meantime, we get the officer agents arriving at this little bar called the Spider's Cafe, which I guess is run by Miss Doublefinger. That's what it sounds like it's run by, because she's the one person who's serving everybody their drinks.
Spider Cafe. Now looking at her correctly, that's pretty fitting considering her design.
Yeah. Now Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas show up first, then followed by Mr. 2, and then Mr. 1 shows up pretty crazily because he attacks Mr. 2's crew, and they get into a fight because of it. So yeah. And essentially, with a few dialogue scenes with Crocodile and Miss All Sunday, we're known that the other officer agents are headed to Rain Base, which is Crocodile's little secret home base headquarters, to get the final mission, which is Project Utopia and stuff like that. Now, in the meantime, the Straw Hats, they essentially they're traveling across the ground. I believe this is also another anime-only episode. Now, before they actually get to Yuba, there's this one interesting episode where Zoro, Luffy, and Chopper all get lost from the crew again. These stupid antics. They fall into a pit, which shows this very interesting sculpture of a square-like thing with some ancient text on it, which obviously is a way to well, in the anime's case, to show that, oh, what is this? We later find out it's a poneglyph and stuff like that. But yeah, which I thought is actually looking back at it now, I was like, huh, that's an interesting, like, hey, this is a poneglyph. I wonder if you guys know what it is. Um, it is pretty interesting too. I will say I actually like that episode, even though I think that's actually a filler episode. The fact that they showed that because it's like it still makes the intrigue of the poneglyph like what the heck is this and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember that episode, but
Yeah, actually, I do. I actually do remember that.
I guess what I can say is, what did you think of that square the poneglyph before you knew it was a poneglyph and what it contained and stuff like that?
I knew nothing about poneglyphs at the time, so I was like, "What's a poneglyph?"
Okay. Anyways, let's get to probably one of the more emotional, depressing moments of this arc, and that is the old man in Yuba named Toto, which is very sad from that story point. So when they arrive in Yuba, Vivi automatically sees that Yuba is essentially covered in sand. And that's when they see this old man essentially digging. And this old man's just digging to have some water because, obviously, one, we also find out that Alabasta has not rained in like 3 years, which also adds to the tension of the rebel army.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, Vivi asked the old man if the rebel is there, which the rebel army was located in Yuba. But then the old man says, nope, they left a long time ago and stuff like that. And then that's when, not Yuba, Toto sees that he recognizes who Vivi is and he's like, Princess Vivi? And then that's when she says Toto. And essentially we get a flashback scene here where it explains the origin story of Toto and his son Koza, which is the rebel leader. And we see the backstory of how Koza and Toto, they were pretty poor. Then King Cobra kind of brought them in. And essentially what happened is Vivi did not like Koza at first, and they got into a little bit of an argument and even a fight. But then they quickly became friends, and they created this clan called the Suna Suna clan, and essentially which furthered their friendship, or what I guess some people can say is maybe the love interest to Vivi, even though technically I see Luffy more of a love interest to Vivi than Koza. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought Koza was a love interest to Vivi because when they were younger, these like I guess really bad dudes who were trying to I guess abduct Vivi and hurt her, Koza actually stepped in and freaking protected um, her from them, which was pretty honorable if you ask me.
Yep.
Um, so anyways, Cobra tells Toto and Koza that they're doing much for the country. He actually asked them if they wanted to stay in the capital, but they're like, no, we're gonna go make our own little village, which is Yuba, and we get to what Yuba's at right now, and it's a desert wonderland, which is very. I guess. What did you think about that? The backstory between Toto, Koza, really more of the Koza and Vivi little backstory there.
Cute, actually. How Koza like used to try to protect her. Like, I don't know if Luffy's that much of a love interest for Vivi, but I can definitely see Koza as a love interest.
Oh, of course, and it seemed like Vivi really did like Koza, but again, now am I going a little bit too far? Okay, yes, I'm going a little bit too far, but yes, I think there's like several hints, not even in this arc, but in this entire saga alone, of the Luffy Vivi or Luffy X Vivi shipping moments we get here. Like, and heck, later on in the series, um, we all know that Vivi reappears later on in the series. but she gives the hint that she doesn't want to marry any other guy to
Yeah,
be
but
the next king, which I guess is just me speculating that maybe she has a thing for Luffy and maybe she likes Luffy. She could. I don't know. I don't know. It's just my internal thoughts, how I feel. I wouldn't blame Vivi for maybe having feelings for Luffy because let's be real, he did kind of save her country.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, and kind of gave her the inspiration she has now. Um, anyways, yeah, like I said, now the reason why the rebels are even rebelling against the royal army or the royal kingdom is because um Koza thinks that the King Cobra is actually keeping all that dance powder all to himself and is only using it in Alabasta for the people who are living there. Because as we know, it has not rained for like 3 years in Alabasta, which, man, if you get no rain for like 3 years, year round, talk about a terrible place to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we live in California, but we get rain every now and then. We don't get it all the time, but at least we get it sometimes.
Then again, it is a desert area.
Well, that too. But still, when it like gets winter time, we get rain every now and then, which we can appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
But just imagine living in a country with no rain. Man, that would suck because how are you gonna grow things? How are you even gonna get water?
That's the main issue.
Yeah, so that's why Koza eventually is pissed off at the king, and he thinks that, King is hogging all the dance powder to himself and is using it, even though the dance powder is illegal um, by the world government, which again leads into the corruption of the world government on what is illegal and what is not illegal. Um, anyways, we also find out too later. We find out too that the reason why also dance powder is essentially illegal, which I guess you could say is pretty valid, is because when you use dance powder, it essentially kind of gets rid of any other weathered patterns. So you create this artificial rain, and any surrounding like clouds or anything, they just kind of go away, essentially because you're making your own artificial weather. Which
Mm-hmm.
I guess now I can see why it's illegal because you're essentially like messing with the ecosystem or messing with the climate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess you can say climate control is bad in the One Piece world. So, anyways, now Koza, he doesn't have much trust in the king anymore, but we find out Toto telling Vivi is Vivi or Toto says that it doesn't matter what the rebels say. I still have faith in your father, Vivi. I still believe Cobra is the right man to follow, and stuff like that, which is very, very sad. And we see this very emotional moment between him and Luffy when he's just digging, and even Luffy eventually starts helping him dig for water. And we later see that he gives Luffy Yuba's water, which he finds like literally digging all night long. So about the little emotional thing about Toto, what did you think about him? Because I thought he was a pretty emotional character.
Yeah, I legit thought he was gonna die. Actually.
We'll get to that soon. Because man, it hit hard when we find out what a certain dial was doing. Uh, okay. So, anyways, after staying the night in Yuba, the Straw Hats and Vivi's plan is for to go back essentially to the same city they first arrived in Alabasta to talk to the rebel army since that's their new hideout area. But then that's when we get a very interesting scene between Luffy and Vivi, which I guess you can say adds to my Luffy X Vivi shipping moments. And this is when we get, a very like intense moment between Luffy and Vivi here. Um, you could say intense, emotional. At the end, it was pretty emotional. And the thing is, Luffy kind of just sits down and he's like, That's it. I'm done. I'm not walking no more. I'm staying right here, right now. And this is when Vivi starts to get a little upset and pissed off. And she's like, what are you talking about? We need to go do the job. And Luffy's like, well, hold on. If we go to the rebel army and we tell them everything, what's going on about what Baroque Works is doing, how we're all being duped here, that ain't gonna stop Crocodile from having a backup plan to somehow make this war still go on between the Royal Army and the rebels, right? So what's the point in going to those guys when we can just go confront, Crocodile? And Vivi's like, that makes no sense, and stuff like that. And then that's when Luffy says, like, listen, regardless, a war is going to happen, and people are going to die. And then that's when Vivi just gets ticked off. And then that's when they get into, she literally punches him. She literally punches him. Which, credit to my girl Vivi, she made Luffy bleed.
Yeah, after how many umpty punches?
And stuff like that. And, Vivi's just in this rebellious state of thinking, like, listen, I'm trying to save everybody. I don't want nobody to die. And then that's when Luffy, well, you know how they said don't hit women. Well, Luffy, he doesn't really care.
He defies that.
Vivi back, and he kind of tells her, listen, regardless, it doesn't matter how many people you want to save. There will be some people that will die. You can't save everyone. Even though a certain somebody from My Hero Academia would love to save everybody. Yes. But essentially, the main thing of this conversation between Luffy and Vivi is the fact that, and even it was brought up earlier in this arc, which Vivi was worried of the fact that, the Straw Hats were just going to bring her to Alabasta and they were just going to dip, and stuff like that. That's what she thought was going to happen. But this is what Nami makes a mention about this to Vivi, like saying, like, yo, why would we come this far just to leave you on your own again? And stuff like that. You can't do this alone. And that's when Luffy kind of puts the point back in Vivi's head by saying, yo, we came here to help you because we did this because you didn't just ask us to help you. We did this because you are our nakama. You are our friend. And we are putting our lives on the line because you are our friend. So have some trust in us for once, that we can get the job done. You've been with us through Little Garden. You've been through, well, I guess the ending of Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. You've seen what we can do. Let us put our lives on the line for you, because we're doing this all for you, which it touched me somewhere when I saw that part. And then that's when you have Vivi obviously break down and cry and stuff like that. And I was like, and then this also, put a thing. I don't know if it did it for you, but it really made me stand out on Luffy's point of the fact, Luffy can do some dumb stuff and he can say some dumb stuff and he may act stupid. But in the heat of a moment, Luffy can honestly probably more than likely be the smartest guy in the room when it comes to talking like some real sense.
Which leads me back to the question of a certain Dragon Ball character. Why isn't Goku like that lately?
Well, if you're talking about a super version, yes. If you're talking about a Z version, then no.
Yeah, Z version is pretty more influential compared to Super.
Yeah. Like I said, this whole argument, it was interesting. And I was like very intrigued. I'm like, okay. So this arc, obviously is a thing about, Vivi realizing that she has friends that she can rely on and that she can't do it by herself, because we know for the longest time in this whole Baroque Works thing, she was really on her own. Even though she had Igaram and stuff like that by her side, she kind of just did this on her own. She was trying to take down Crocodile on her own and stuff like that and not relying on anybody. And the fact that Luffy said, hey, we're your friends, dude. We didn't just like dip and bail you. Otherwise, we'd have just have let you die in Little Garden. What was your thoughts on the whole little disagreement until it later gets resolved by Luffy saying those words?
Yeah, Luffy, you're a lot more influential than I expected.
Which, leads me to believe, and it even started me to believe even more on top of after everything we've seen from Luffy, it started to really hammer in for me that I'm really starting to like Luffy as the main character. Like literally, I'm like Luffy right now is definitely in my top 10 of main characters I've seen because this dude he's not only influential, he inspires people, which we see in his crew and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
To the point he's even inspiring a princess who probably should not take no words from a freaking pirate. Heck, not even be friends with a pirate to begin with. You know, the fact that Luffy's like, listen, we're your friends, man. Like, we got your back on this one. We'll throw our lives down before you even think about it and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting. Um, then Luffy kind of ends off the conversation like, listen, just take me to Crocodile and I'll promise you I'll kick his ass. Which he says honestly repeatedly over and over and over in this arc. Again and again. So then Vivi tells him, well, Crocodile is located in Rain Base, which again is hidden hideout to him. Well, it's not hidden hideout. It's kind of like a casino area, like it's essentially Las Vegas in Alabasta. That's what it is.
Yeah. Very accurate.
Okay. Now we go back to the Baroque work side. Now the other officer agents see Crocodile for the first time and they're like, oh, you're the Warlord Crocodile and stuff like that. This is when he tells them of his plan Utopia. He tells the officer agents, follow the rules by these exact guidelines, and we're sure to win this thing and stuff like that. Now, as soon as Mr. 3 actually ends up getting to that exact meeting. So, one, in a way to try to save himself from the situation, he kind of tells Crocodile that the Straw Hats are still alive, which Sanji, who pretended to be Mr. 3, lied to him. And now, the thing is, Crocodile doesn't know that was Sanji. So he thinks Mr. 3 legit lied to him. So this is when we get probably one of the crazier, intense scenes in One Piece where we see how scary Crocodile is. So Crocodile, this man, suck up the moisture out of Mr. 3 and essentially feed him to his gigantic crocodiles in his little aquarium tank. Well, little aquarium tank. I mean, what you would probably say is, if you have ever been to SeaWorld, the gigantic Shamu tank. That's essentially what his crocodiles were in.
I'll never forget that sadistic laugh.
Yeah. And Mr. 3 is dead.
Or is he?
We'll get to that later. Like I said, Crocodile's main plan is called Project Utopia, which, man, sounds like something like Thanos would frickin' say. You know, I am inevitable.
And I am King of the Pirates.
Yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Imagine that.
But I feel like that'd be more saved for like the very, very end of One Piece. It would be cool if they actually do that, where Luffy's like, "But I am the king of the." That'd be great. That would be great. Please do that. That would be great. Again, also, can I just say this? R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Please. Also, if you didn't know, ABC is actually showing Black Panther live as a way to tribute his death. So it sucks. It sucks.
Wakanda forever.
That's all I gotta say. Anyways, Luffy and the other Straw Hat Pirates, they end up getting to Rain Base looking for Crocodile, and great, we see Mr. Smokey again. No, not Smokey the Bear. We see Smoker. Also, can I just say just one good question?
Yeah.
What the hell is this man smoking with 2 cigars in his mouth?
Well, probably because of his devil fruit.
I guess so. I'm sorry. I need Oda to have maybe an SBS and maybe clear up, or if anybody knows, can Smoker like get lung cancer? But I don't think he can because he's essentially smoke. So I feel like he wouldn't even have to worry about smoking so much because he can smoke all he wants because his body is smoke.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
Anyways, Luffy, Usopp, Nami, and Zoro, they end up getting chased by Smoker again. And because of them getting chased, they go into the casino and they end up falling for a crocodile's trap. And then when they get put into a sea prism stone cage, which I believe this is the first time we're introduced to sea prism stone, which essentially, if you didn't know, is another thing which counteracts the powers of devil fruit users. And it has the same element of the sea, which, if you know your One Piece, devil fruit users get weak when they're in water, amounts of water and stuff like that. And then this is when, we see Luffy interacting with Crocodile for the first time and stuff like that. Now, in the meantime, Vivi actually gets cornered by some billions of Baroque works. But fun fact, Karu actually got to the, Royal Kingdom much more earlier before they got even to Rain Base. The king reads the note Vivi sent them, and they know that everything that's going on right now. So then what they do is Pell, which is obviously like a guard of the king, he flies over to Rain Base and eventually he saves her. Now, Pell's devil fruit is called the Tori Tori no Mi. In other words, when you translate that to English, you can call that the bird fruit model falcon, which essentially is essentially a Zoan type devil fruit where, he can be able to transform into legit a falcon. So he's like a hybrid between human and falcon, which I think is pretty cool. I like these forms of these Zoan devil fruit users.
Yeah, there's gonna be plenty more where that came from.
Especially when you get to Wano.
Yeah.
Almost every damn pirate in Kaido's crew uses some sort of Zoan devil fruit. Anyways, he saves her, and then essentially what happens is it seems like Pal's gonna come in, but All Miss Sunday ruins the party. And to say that it looks like she broke freaking Pell's neck. I cannot see the least, but I really thought she killed Pell right there.
Clutch.
Yeah. All I gotta say is he bended a way that a body should not bend.
Just imagine, dude. Just imagine.
Yeah. Anyways, because of that, Vivi gets captured by All Miss Sunday and is brought to Crocodile right there and stuff like that. Now, we thought everything was going worse. Well, it just went even worse than that because in Alabasta, Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas end up capturing Vivi's dad, King Cobra. Essentially what happens is, they're tricking the royal army even more on a standard. They have Mr. Two pretend to be Cobra since he can transform into Cobra. So we have Mr. Two as Cobra, which is all a part of the plan. Also, anyways, Koza actually gets to the palace and he confronts Mr. Two pretending to be Cobra. But Mr. Two pretending to be Cobra shoots Koza and makes the tensions even worse. And even, Mr. Two pretending to be Cobra says, oh yes, we use the dance powder for our own needs, for only Alabasta's needs. We didn't use it for you peasants, which again furthers this. Sorry for that, guys. Sorry for that. When I was watching this, I was like, they're being played.
Yep.
Things are really getting bad here. Was that what you were thinking here as well?
It was like, no, come on, you come on.
Yeah, it was just getting really freaking bad. Also, Mr. One and Miss Mary, I mean Miss not Miss Mary Christmas, Miss Doublefinger, end up also destroying a ship with rebel weapons on it, which again furthers it. As well as Mr. One also attacks this little kid. I believe his name is Kappa. Um, and when Koza sees this, that's his breaking point. That's like he's like, we need to go to war. The Royal Army has done too much. And that's when things really get bad. Yeah. So anyways, now obviously Vivi. Now, okay. So, anyways, Vivi is getting like essentially like I guess you could say like I don't know, mocked by Crocodile because she knows she can't do anything against Crocodile. Now, the thing is, what Crocodiles does is like, oh, you want to save your friends from their little cage? Well, you're gonna have to get the key to release them. But fun fact, the key is in one of my crocodiles in my little aquarium, and you're going to have to defeat them to get to that key. And next thing you know, if things didn't get any worse, he has water start dropping, and the crocodiles actually get in the same room as Vivi. And he just dips and he's like, goodbye, princess. I'm off to complete my plan of Project Utopia as he gives his laugh. But
Uh, 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 uh. Okay, I'll stop.
Can I just say, a certain cook comes in the clutch with his anomalous behavior. Now, what Sanji does is he calls Crocodile and he tricks him. Now, the thing is this. One, can I just say, it was hilarious because he called himself Mr. Prince. Listen, Sanji, this guy, man, this guy is freaking crazy. Now, Crocodile does not have a drawing, so he doesn't know what Sanji looks like, as well as, what happens is, since he doesn't know what Chopper looks like, Chopper actually gets into the action to trick Crocodile as well. And Crocodile over here is getting heated. He's losing it, man. He's losing. Heck, in Pirate Warriors 4, there's a legit mission where you have to avoid Crocodile at all costs while he's trying to look for Mr. Prince. And stuff like that. One, you see Sanji wearing these shades, pretending to be students.
What am I doing? I'm not wearing shades.
Yeah, Sanji, man, he really did come in the clutch. He manages to help BB out by essentially kicking the ever-living crap out of these banana crocodiles. Yes, I kid you not, they're called banana crocodiles. They have a little banana on their foreheads, which I thought was pretty cute. Okay. Now, what happens is we see this interesting ball-like structure pop out of one of the crocodiles. We later find out, fun fact, Mr. 3 is not dead. He is still alive.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, before he got eaten, he just formed a wax ball with the power he had left. So essentially, Sanji makes Mr. 3 essentially like make the key to release them. They end up releasing them when Crocodile finds out, oh, I'm being duped, I'm being played. He eventually runs back to the casino because in the meantime, Sanji actually destroyed the bridge to the rain base area, to the casino area. And now that didn't stop Crocodile because he can literally fly over that stuff. But when Crocodile comes back, he sees that all of them are gone. Smoker, Luffy, the other Straw Hats are gone. And at this point, Crocodile is heated because this is the first time he's ever gotten played like this. And he's probably made much of a fool. And I was laughing when I was watching this part because it's like, oh, great. Now, the first thing that didn't go your way, you little animal. reptile or whatever a crocodile species is. So anyways, what happens is they're gonna be on their way to Alabasta. Chopper actually grabbed this really interesting, creepy looking smiley crab looking thing. Um so they're trying to escape rain base, but then all of a sudden you see Mr. Captain Hook's, well, I mean Crocodile's little hook grab a hold of Vivi. Um and then Luffy kind of switches Vivi for him, and then this is when we get the fight between Luffy and Crocodile. Fight number 1 out of 3. Because
Mm-hmm.
like Luffy didn't lose here. Oh wait, he
In one of the more gruesome ways possible.
yes. Now this is when we get introduced to Crocodile's devil fruit powers, which is the Suna Suna no Mi, or in other words,
The sand fruit.
and essentially he can turn his entire body into sand. And essentially he's like Smoker. So Luffy's again fighting a losing battle he can't win. Another revelation we get during this battle is we find out, which as the emotional Yuba moment, we find out that Crocodile was sending sandstorms at Yuba's direction. Hell, he even does it again in this battle, which furthermore ticks Luffy off, knowing what Toto's going through and stuff like that. And man, when he got impaled, bro, by his hook, and the way the anime portrays it with the just shadedness of him getting stabbed, you really felt like all hope was lost right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, so this is what a real warlord's like. We're screwed. How are they going to win? And when I was first watching this, I was like, how are they going to beat a guy with sand powers who can just transform essentially into Sandman? That's what he is. He's Sandman, like the Spider-Man villain. Now, an interesting tidbit is, one, Luffy actually uses water, and by using the water that actually got in his hand, he actually hit Crocodile, which we later find out that water is Crocodile's weakness, which I guess you can say is the only, well, every Logia user is weak to water, but he's like, in Pokemon terms, quad effective to water, because that guy can't even, I don't even know how the guy can take a shower.
It's super effective. Crocodile fainted. Pew.
Yeah, he more than likely would be getting one hit KO'd if it was the Pokemon universe. He like literally Crocodile in Pokemon terms is the exact typing of a rock and ground type.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is. Um, anyways, he because of Luffy trying to like resiliently try to fight back, Crocodile kind of puts Luffy in this hole, this like I guess you can say quicksand, and tries to essentially drown him in the sand. But surprisingly, a certain individual by Miss All Sunday saves him. And she's very intrigued too. She goes and mentions, she's like, Monkey D. Luffy. Huh. I wonder what the D and the Will of D stands for you people. So she brings up the Will of D, which still to this day we do not know what the hell the Will of D is. We don't even know what the initial D stands for every character that we find out later gets the D name.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably won't be revealed to like, I don't know, the final arc in One Piece. And stuff like that. Now, we see an injured Pell, and she actually lets Pell go, and she's like, you can still save him. You might want to tend to his injuries and stuff like that. So we're already seeing here. Now, actually, I'm going to ask you first. When you saw Miss All Sunday do this, what were your thoughts? Were you like, so she's not entirely bad, or is she bad?
I'd say she's not bad. I mean, she did save Luffy, so.
Were you intrigued when she saved Luffy? Like, why is she doing this?
Like I don't really know anything about her, so I just like, hmm, okay, but what are you gonna gain from this?
Yeah, that's what I said too. I'm like, that's why it put me in the doubt. I'm like, is she going to like, I don't know, betray Crocodile? That's what I thought when I was like, I'm like, interesting, huh?
Well, if she was, then joke's on her later on.
Okay. So, anyways, after getting stressed, and they're on the outskirts of Alabama, one, the war between the Royal Army and the rebels have officially started. So that is kicking off right now. Now, the officer agents, what they're doing is they know Vivi's coming, and they're all waiting for Vivi to get there. Now, we actually see the return of our good duck Karu. And Karu, with his other duck partners, essentially find a way to trick the Baroque Works agents. And what they do is every other Straw Hat except Vivi start writing on this duck squadron. It tricks the officer agents, which sets up the matchups for our Straw Hats versus these officer agents. While Vivi goes in there while they're all distracted and stuff like that. Um, Now, like I said, they're wearing hoods so they can't tell, like, hey, that one's Vivi and stuff like that. But yeah. Now, when Vivi actually gets into Alabarna, one of the crazy things is what she tries to do is first, she just tries to stop the rebel army from even getting to the thing, into Alabarna. But in a pretty emotional scene, she literally almost gets stepped on, but it was all thanks to Karu that protected her from probably
Yeah.
getting even worse injuries like that.
He's a really manly duck.
Um, so an injured Karu essentially takes Vivi all the way to Alabarna, injured as all get up. Mr. Two eventually shows up and is like, now he tries to pretend like he's Usopp, but Vivi sees right through this. And it's looking like, oh crap, Vivi's gonna get potentially killed here. But then our main man, Mr. Prince, or should I say Sanji, shows up and saves the day and saves the beautiful princess. So that sets up the Mr. 2 Sanji fight, which was pretty cool. Now, the other fights that are set up is Chopper and Usopp fight Mr. 4 and his, I kid you not, his devil fruit cannon that takes the form of a dog.
Ah,
And Miss Merry Christmas. Okay, let's talk about this battle first things first. One, apparently Usopp can take metal bats to the face, even when you see his cranium breaking in half.
oh, the way you said that too.
Um, to say that Usopp is one tough son of a bitch, I don't know what that says.
He's still pretty cowardly when it comes to hiding his own weaknesses. Especially when he lifted up that so-called heavyweight mallet.
Oh yeah, that. Okay, one of the funniest moments in this fight is he pretends like he has like a 2-ton mallet. And he hits it on the head of Miss Merry Christmas, and she literally pretends like she is knocked out and down for the count. And I'm over here like, there's no way you're lifting a 2-ton mallet, dude. I'm sorry. This is one of the many times he pulls this trick, and it's just hilarious just to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Brings this thing back in a future arc later, but I was laughing that this woman really thinks that she got knocked out with a 2-ton mallet.
He just scared her to the point that she passed out.
Now, the reason why they're having trouble is one, Miss Merry Christmas, her devil fruit power is the Mogu Mogu no Mi, which is the mole mole fruit. Essentially, it's another Zoan devil fruit that she is a hybrid of a mole. So she's digging in the ground, which is throwing them off. And in the meantime, she's holding these guys in place while, yes, a cannon that somehow consumed a devil fruit. Trust me, this is only the start of things to come when it comes to inanimate objects and devil fruits.
I'm still confused about that one.
That needs to be explained. How can an inanimate object eat a devil fruit? I don't think a bazooka can eat a devil fruit.
At first, I thought it was the dog that turned into a
Yeah,
cannon.
that's what I thought at first, and it's like, oh, he must have the cannon fruit or something like that. But no, we later find out in this battle, it was the freaking cannon or bazooka that ate the devil fruit, which he ate the dog fruit essentially.
What does that mean? Could it be that the inanimate object is actually alive to begin with? Dun dun dun.
Who knows? Now, if you know One Piece, you know this is just a repeated trend over and over again when it comes to inanimate objects eating devil fruits. Again, I don't know how that's possible, but I would really like some information on how that is. So Oda, can we get some information about that, please and thank you?
Or if any of you guys know, please leave it down in the comments, please.
Now, as I was saying, what the strategy we was doing was throwing Chopper and Usopp's battle game off is, again, like I said, Miss Merry Christmas would hold them in place by grabbing their legs. And what the dog would do is fire baseball, which is an explosive at the same time. And Mr. Four would essentially go home run on that baseball and make them go boom. So yeah, again, one of the more painful shots, which I was even like ooh, when Miss Merry Christmas was dragging Usopp, and then Mr. Four with his metal bat literally swings at Usopp's head and connects with him. Anyways, we get the interesting new, I guess you could say, somewhat power up by Chopper here, and that is using this little thing called the Rumble Ball. And essentially, what the Rumble Ball is it essentially makes Chopper get, I think, even another transformed state, another body point move, as well as he can see, everybody's weaknesses. So by him tag teaming with Usopp, they end up beating Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas. To be honest, now, in my honest opinion, this was the weakest fight out of all the Straw Hat Pirates in their individual fights, but it was still entertaining to see. One of the weakest members really struggle to fight. And again, I said it like I said in Fishman Island, when Usopp needs to fight, he'll fight. And Chopper, he showed he a dog. And when I mean dog, I mean he's a dude who you can rely on.
Dog.
Yeah. Now, Sanji fights Mr. 2. They're kind of an interesting fight.
Yeah, with Mr. 2 constantly changing into Nami's figure. Nami-san! Oh, wait, no.
Yeah. Now, for some reason, Mr. 2 just stops turning into Nami for some reason, which I don't know why. Oh, wait, plot. But if we're being common sense, if I knew my enemy was obviously had a weakness to females, I would stay transformed as a hot chick for legit the rest of the battle, and I would just kill him and be over with. Because Sanji looked like he would rather die to Nami before even hitting her now. We later find out the reason why he doesn't hit females, but we won't talk about that later now. But yeah, the reason why he barely escapes the fight, and they have this, I guess almost epic type of sword moment, but it's the whole thing where they kick each other and it looks like the fight's over. But then Mr. 2 takes a brunt of the attacks and he's down for the count as well. Mr. 2 loses and Sanji wins. Nami fights Miss Doublefinger, and thanks to Usopp creating a new device for her because she brings this up to Usopp that she wants to fight. Bad. She wants to fight. Usopp makes her this weapon called the climax, which essentially is her weather technique thing. Now, the funny thing about this freaking battle is she's using this for the first time, and
she has no idea how to use it.
She has no idea to use it, and then Usopp just put a lot of party tricks into this staff and stuff like that. Even to the point, Nami's like, I swear, I'm going to kill him after this. But eventually she, now, painfully, she sees that one of the last attacks is being able to whip or tie up Miss Doublefinger. And actually, Miss Doublefinger's devil fruit is the Togo no Mi, which is the spike fruit, which essentially she just makes her body parts really freaking spiky. So she can make her nails spiky, her feet spiky, her elbows spiky, hell, her hair spiky.
She reminds me of a certain female character from Full Metal Alchemist.
Really?
Essentially. You should watch it, Cameron. You should watch it. It's a masterpiece.
Okay. Anyways, Nami make sure that Miss Doublefinger gets all tied up. To say that she had the guts to do this, I'll tell you one thing. I don't think I could have the guts to do this. And in a painful way, she actually slams her foot on one of Miss Doublefinger's freaking hair spikes to just be able to wrap her up in this thing with her clima attack. And she managed to beat her like that. And I was like, that I just started grabbing my feet when I saw that. I'm like, Nami, you are a trooper. You are a trooper.
Stormtrooper, to be exact.
This is also, I just come to mention this. This is also where we see Nami's enhancements start to grow. If you don't recognize it, because they're not as big as pre-time skip Nami, but they're getting up there. In Skypiea, they definitely are shown more than enough. Now, if you watch the movie, they're much more bigger and much more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll actually talk about the movie in a few seconds. Now, Zoro, he fights Mr. One, which is the most powerfulest officer agent of Baroque works, and his devil fruit is the Supa no Mi, and essentially that translates to the dice fruit. And essentially, what Mr. One's powers is, out of any part of his body, he can essentially make a blade out of it. So, like, you see, he can make, like, his fingers blade-like, his forearms blade-like, and essentially he's like steel. And the thing about Zoro is, what is he trying to do?
Cut through anything, / steel. AKA steel, pretty much.
Yeah, and what did you think of the Zoro battle against him?
God, that was badass. That's my boy Zoro.
Zoro continues to have epic moments. And trust, this is just a start.
Mm-hmm.
Start. Hell, it seems like if you watched last night's One Piece episode, it seems like Zoro might get another big focused episode next week.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're going to focus on Zoro more on this arc. Much more.
Yes. He ends up beating number one, so all the officer agents are now down. So the only officer agents or only people are still a thing are Miss All Sunday and Mr. Zero or Crocodile. Now, Vivi in the meantime actually catches up with Koza, and with Koza, they actually both reach the palace. But Crocodile actually gets there too with Miss All Sunday. And to say that they make Cobra do essentially a crucifixion here, yeah, no. Yeah, he's essentially like crucified. Essentially, he's like nailed to like the wall with these nails.
No. Sorry.
Crocodile actually tells Vivi that he is going to blow up the Palace Plaza, and that there's a bomb in Alabasta, which when I'm done with Project Utopia, you're all gonna die. So he's planning to take everybody, even his own men, out of the picture, which, again, Crocodile gives no Fs. I think Crocodile gives no Fs. So yeah. Now, in the meantime, he also asked Cobra, tell me and take me to the secret location of the ancient weapon Pluton, which is the first mention of the ancient weapon, which is the reason why he's here in Alabasta. Now, things ensue. What Koza actually does is he goes back to the battlefield, tries to tell everybody that things are going haywire and we need to stop fighting. He actually even waves the white flag and he surrenders. So you think the war is going to stop, everything's going to get back to normal. What instance out?
I'll just say.
Yeah, the reason why this war continues going on is a Baroque works agent pretending to be in the Royal Army shoots Koza. Now, one, I thought Koza died.
Mm-hmm.
He's still alive. Now, how characters are taking bullets?
I'm telling you, man, these characters have plot armor.
Yes. Anyways, Koza gets shot, which angers the rebel army. They continue fighting. So the war is back on. So now you just see Baroque Works agents just been like, that was me when I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They literally had it done. And then fighting's still continuing and stuff like that. Now Vivi, the thing is, Vivi sees this, and Crocodile does his laugh. So then he manages to grab Vivi by the neck, and he's just again mocking her again, and he's like, "You, just a little girl, tried to save this village. Well, it's too much now. It's too late. I'm gonna win." And when it looks like all hope is lost, can I just, before I tell you how Luffy returns, can I just say the way Crocodile dropped her or was trying to drop her was so messed up and just hit me so hard to that where I'm like, I hate you! I hate you! He legit turns his whole hand back into sand and literally, because it's sand, it makes Vivi slowly but surely drop. And I'm like, I want this guy to die so bad. And when it's like Vivi's going to essentially fall to her death, we hear a good old straw hat guy named Luffy say, "Crocodile!" And he manages to save Vivi, which further implies my moment when I directly say that this moment here is definitely a Luffy x Vivi moment right here. That's definitely a Luffy x Vivi moment, which I guess you can say if Vivi has feelings for Luffy, that's when she fell in love with him. Anyways, he manages to put her down with Pell, and they meet up with the other Straw Hats. Luffy actually goes up and confronts Crocodile a second time. This time he takes a new form. Water Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, he finds out the weakness of Crocodile, which is if Crocodile gets wet by water, he's done for. They have a second fight, and Luffy again loses. Because what happens is Luffy tries to, drink all the freaking water. And the thing is, Crocodile essentially dries the moisture of the water out of Luffy. And Luffy almost like a withered skin particle.
Pretty much.
Now, how Luffy is saved, he actually spits these water droplets into the air, which eventually rehabilitates him and saves him from almost nearly dying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the meantime, what Vivi, Zoro, and the other Vivi, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji and Chopper are doing, and even Pell, they're looking for the bomb that's about to explode in the Alabasta Plaza. They eventually, after so long, finding out that the bomb is in the it's in the clock tower, and in a pretty cool way to get there. Vivi gets up there. Pell gets shot to even get there. First things first, by two other officer agents, which is Mr. Seven, and I forgot his partner's name. But Vivi, good girl Vivi, badass Vivi, defeats both of them. And she shuts off the bomb. Ha ha ha. We all thought we did. We later find out, Crocodile has a back plan for a back plan for a back plan. Or a back for a backup plan for a backup plan.
Too much backup plans.
Which, okay, I just gotta say this. Crocodile, he's a great villain. He is just a great villain. I kid you not. This man legit had backup plans for backup plans in case something failed. And even if there would look like, come on, there can't be nothing else. There can't be another backup plan. He just had it. He just pulled another hat out of his trick like a bunny. Which makes Crocodile very intelligent. And I'm like, this dude is just crazy. He's literally playing chess with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we get an emotional moment here. Well, should I say emotional? Pell essentially sacrifices his life with the bomb, and he manages to give up his life for everybody else in the plaza. Quote, I say sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even in this explosion, it does not even tell the people fighting in this war do not stop fighting. They're still fighting, even though an explosion just happened over their heads. So, man, they really must be into this war, and they really must have hatred towards monks one another to even continue doing this. Because I'd probably look up and be like, hey, didn't you guys just see that?
They thought I was part of the war.
Yeah. Now Vivi, she's trying to call out to them, and she's like, please stop fighting. But nobody can hear her voice.
She just kept screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming.
Yeah. Now, because Crocodile was fighting Luffy, Miss Sunday was actually taking Cobra to the location of Pluton. Really, what we later find out is the poneglyph, and stuff like that. Now, Miss All Sunday runs into Tashigi and the rest of the Marines. Now, they say, listen, you need to release Cobra right now, but Miss Sunday, who gets really freaking heated out of the blue, she's like, no, you won't. And she even, I kid you not, this is the first time we saw her legit lose it, because she got really freaking fast here. And she really uses that anger on Tashigi by legit almost
clutch.
I don't know. When I was first watching this arc, man, I'm like, bro, what is her devil fruit power? Because I cannot stand the fact that she's like literally breaking limbs. Now, I kid you not. It's implied like she broke all of Tashigi's bones in her body by clutching them. But for some reason, you still can see Tashigi walking after this. I don't know how, but they literally show like one of her Tashigi's body parts going like, and I'm like, no way, bro. There's no way she's managed to get up from that. And she's just a normal human. Crocodile even shows up and kind of antagonizes Tashigi by saying, like, you Marines are pathetic and you're just weak. And he's telling that to Tashigi individually. And this is when you get an emotional moment from Tashigi. And she's like, I'm just too weak to confront these guys and stuff like that, which you feel for her. She wants to get stronger to confront these people, but she just isn't strong enough to deal with these type of people. I don't know what you felt about that part, but I thought it was pretty emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, as I get messages for my classes starting tomorrow. Um, anyways, an interesting point before even all that happens is one of the Marine members mentions, like, hey, I know who she is, Tashigi. That's Nico Robin, a girl who had a bounty of 79 million as a kid at age 7. When I heard this, I was like, 7? I'm like, what did she do?
That's when we're gonna learn how twisted the Marines are.
Now, one of the Marine, that same Marine goes on to mention saying that it's believed she took down 6 warships. And when I heard that, I was like, if she did all this at 7 years of age, she's definitely a problem. Yeah. We'll find more about Robin in 4 or 5 arcs. Anyways, her devil fruit power is the Hana Hana no Mi. In other words, the flower fruit. In other words, if you still don't get an understanding, the flower fruit says it in the meaning. In other words, it's to bloom or to grow. And essentially, she can make like legit more. She can grow more limbs of herself, according to her accurate strength and everything. Now, at this point in the story, she's one of the most OP characters in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they do tone it down a little bit going forward, which I effing hate.
Kinda, anyways. Gigantesco mano.
Yeah. I don't know why they keep sleeping on my girl Robin or why they keep treating her like that. But I know she's more powerful than what she looks like. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Listen to him rant, people. Listen to him rant.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, what happens is Robin actually goes into the underground basement with Crocodile. Luffy eventually follows them in there later. But we see that same we see another poneglyph, which is what we saw in that one filler episode. So the thing we find out is Robin can actually read these poneglyphs and read them word for word, which will tie into her backstory in a few more arcs later down the road. And essentially, what this poneglyph says or tells is the location of Pluton. Now, obviously, for One Piece fans that know what Pluton is, you know what Pluton is. Now, I won't talk morally about Pluton until we get to Enies Lobby, because they explain more into Pluton for Enies Lobby. And for new people who are coming across the channel, watching One Piece for the first time, I don't want to give spoilers away. But all we know is Pluton is an ancient weapon that can destroy essentially freaking islands, which makes sense why Crocodile wants to get his hands on this thing so damn bad. Now, again, the poneglyph gives a location of the ancient weapon where Pluton is located at. But Robin sees this, and knowing that Crocodile is a very, very bad person, and knowing that Crocodile probably isn't the ideal person to have this weapon, especially an ancient weapon from the Void Century, all the way back in God knows how long ago that was in the One Piece timeline. And you know that Crocodile will do whatever he wants by any means necessary to get what he wants. Robin essentially does not tell him. She kind of lies and says, yeah, this poneglyph, it just talks about some Alabasta history and everything like that. And this is when Crocodile's like, you're lying to me, aren't you? And then this is when Crocodile turns on Nico Robin and impales her with his hook.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what Robin does even before she gets impaled is she tries to get water on him and probably break his neck. But Crocodile's too fast for that. And yeah. Also, in the meantime, Cobra kind of sets off like a bomb or a trigger to send the ruins to go and crash down on them. But yeah, Crocodile's like, funny, King Cobra, because yeah, you might try to think you're going to take me all down with you, but I can turn into sand, and me turn into sand, I can get out the little crevices I want to, which means Cobra did all that for nothing, and he's putting his own life at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Luffy gets down there, and we have the final confrontation between Luffy and Crocodile. But miraculously, Luffy is able to hit Crocodile because Crocodile's like, hey, you can't touch me. You have no water. What are you gonna do, pirate? Or what he likes to say, straw hat. And then we see Luffy actually make a connect blow on Crocodile. And the reason what he's doing is he's using the blood on his hands, which the blood on his hands essentially make it to where, because blood is obviously a liquid substance. Blood is essentially water. But since it's a liquid substance, he's able to hit Crocodile with him. And man, we get this really awesome battle in the tomb. To the point we get like poison hooks. And then we see Luffy finish Crocodile up by using. Do you know the move Luffy used to do it? Or
Come on, storm!
Yeah, and to say that this man just unleashed a barrage of freaking attacks, it was so powerful. This man Crocodile went through the dang ruined building, and like you can see the ruins just cave in and make this little freaking pothole, and then you just see this man just get clobbered, and you see him float with his lifeless body in the air and stuff like that. And I was like, yes, it's finally over.
It's about time. Damn.
What happens is Luffy actually saves Cobra and Robin. Now, Robin is like, get your hands off me. Just leave me here. I just want to die. Which is a fun little point to a future arc regarding Robin. Luffy reluctantly carries Robin because, let's be honest, Luffy sees her as a good person, and he's like, well, you saved my life, so it's only fair I do it for you anyways. So he manages to save Cobra and Robin by getting out of the ruins before they eventually collapse on all of them. Also, in the meantime, we see rain actually hit Alabasta for the first time in Alabasta, and because of the rain, it makes Vivi's cries be heard to the rebels and the royal army to finally stop. And she says, the nightmare is over. You can stop fighting. And it's over. The war is over.
Hallelujah.
To say that this war in Alabasta was just heart-wrenching and emotional, and all these freaking moments were just so much, man. I kid you not. This was really a lot to take in.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the Luffy Crocodile battle to, this and that, man. It was so much, man. It was so much. I don't get the same thoughts, but,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have to agree with everything.
No. First things first. We find out Igorem's not dead. Why?
Mama.
Which starts momentum of the fact of One Piece characters looking like they're dead, but not dead. He tells Cobra the true plot, he tells Cobra, who's in front of the royal army and the rebels, the true plot of what happened with the rope works and everything. And then now that everybody knows, they stop fighting and they eventually make up and everything. Cobra goes on to mention and says, listen, I will assist you guys in any way I can, and I will help. Let's us together rebuild Alabasta to be a more complete country and stuff like that. Crocodile eventually gets arrested by the Marines, which is good, which You later find out he'll be sent to a certain prison later on. I won't say what that prison is, but we'll see. We'll see him again and stuff like that. Luffy, because all the fatigue, he's essentially gone and knocked out for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
On the 3rd day, he finally on the 4th day, he awakens, and the Straw Hats are revealed to be heroes in Alabasta.
Hey, Cameron, put the video on pause for now. I'll be right back.
All right, quick second, guys. Okay, back from that quick little break, guys. We're almost finishing off. I swear, when I see this video is gonna be like probably an hour, more than an hour long. Tells you how long the Alabasta arc is, and trust me, when we review Skypiea and Jaya, that's gonna be even longer next week, probably. Anyways, like I said, now Luffy and his crew are honored as heroes. The people of Alabasta know they are the heroes of the city, and they stop Crocodile. Even the Royal Army knows. They get a feast like Luffy was finally promised. The only thing that wasn't promised is them getting a lot of money, because Nami doesn't get that from Vivi and the others. So, yeah. Now, Mr. 2 actually comes up to them and tells them, yo, the Marines are actually looking for you guys. I come in, and they're like, oh, shoot, we got to leave by tomorrow. So then that's when they tell Vivi, like, listen, we're going to be gone by tomorrow morning. Listen, you need to make your mind. Would you like to come with us and continue our journey? Or are you going to stay here? And they give Vivi an ultimatum. So things like this. Now, one, we see another new Marine person, and this is Hina. And Hina's devil fruit is the Ori Ori no Mi, which is the cage fruit. Essentially, she can create these metal-like railing bars and trap you within these cages.
Are they sea prism? Are they sea prism bars, or?
I don't think they are. I think they're just regular metal cages. Now, the one thing that is very interesting here is, because Smoker saw everything that happened, he knows that the Straw Hats defeated Crocodile to do all this. Now, the world government and the Marines are actually giving Smoker and Tashigi a promotion for their hard work on what they did in Alabasta, but Smoker reluctantly is like, I'm not accepting that promotion. I didn't do this. The pirates did this. Straw Hat Luffy and his crew saved Alabasta. I had nothing to do with it. But Hina's like, man, just shut up and just take it. And it's very interesting. One, I just gotta say this. This made me respect Smoker so much more, because he seems like a much more honorable guy, because he knows, like, I did nothing in this war. The pirates are the ones that saved this country. But the reason why the world government and the Marines are doing this, because if word got out in the papers that a pirate defeated another pirate to save a country, wow, that would certainly be like, so does that mean like all pirates are all good or something like that? And that would definitely look bad for the Marines, because it's like, to other people seeing, like, reading the newspaper of saying a pirate defeated another pirate to save a country, and the Marines had no involvement. People could look at the papers or the newspapers and be like, hold on, the Marines didn't even do a damn thing? Which would be like, so the Marines really are bad, aren't they? And it obviously would make sense why people would think that. People would be like, well, then that means the Marines ain't doing their job. A pirate had to do the job for them. So yeah. It's interesting still. I still find it like it was good, even though Smoker did end up taking it, the promotion, reluctantly. I still like the fact that he gave the respect for Luffy and the others of the ones who actually did the real job. I don't know about you, but what did you think about that?
Yeah, I noticed that ever since they broke out of that underwater cell that Crocodile trapped them in. That Crocodile at least has some honor. That's why he let Luffy go that one time.
Yeah. And that's just a repeated thing with Luffy and Smoker, which again, it still leaves me to believe. I know some people will probably say, now this is going farther into the timeline in terms of things, events, but I feel like One Piece. I know some people say Kobe might be like the essentially the head of the Marine Force, but I really do believe when it's the end of One Piece, I really do believe Smoker might like run the Marines and be the, you know, essentially the supreme leader of the Marines and run the Marines because he's just that honorable guy. He don't like pirates, but he's honorable at the end of the day. Like hell, and you even watch One Piece Stampede, he reluctantly teamed up with the pirates and the Revolut and well Sabo to essentially defeat Douglas Bullet reluctantly, but he still sucked it up and he'll still do it because he knows I'm here to protect the peace and stuff like that. So yeah. Another thing I got to mention here, I just mentioned, I don't know if some people see it, but I definitely do ship Hina and Smoker. They feel like a couple made to be because they have this banter back and forth with each other.
I guess so.
Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they have an off day. They would go out. I wouldn't be shocked.
Is it unless the Marines have something like you can date other officers if you're already in the Marines?
I guess so, but you know, there are people within the same work areas that if they're single and they want to mingle, they'll date each other. Now, is that not good business wise? No, dating a coworker is not good at all because then it becomes really problematic. Plus, you know, you just act professional around each other all the time, and then you save it for, you know, all that other stuff later. So now we get the response because this is kind of like BB's coronation thing and stuff like that, and being like the official princess of Alabasta. So thanks to Mr. Two distracting Hina's crew, and essentially getting captured by Hina's crew, it gives the Stars a chance to get away. And in the meantime, Vivi actually comes to this cliff where the water's at, where she sees the Going Merry flying off to the distance. See her, and I kid you not, this is probably the most emotional moment in the Alabasta arc, which almost let me cry. And Vivi goes on a monologue essentially saying how much fun she had spending time with all of them and stuff like that, and the fact that this is where her journey comes to an end with them. I was like, and that's when she tells them that she's going to stay a princess in Alabasta and stuff like that. Now, what hit me really freaking hard was when she's like, do you think you still have it in it to be my friend? As she's saying this in her tears. And I'm like, come on, don't cry. I'm like, please. Now, Luffy, he's about to yell out, listen. He's like, of course we will. Now, Nami shuts him up because he's like, the Marines are legit right there. If they hear her, they're just gonna bring BB in because they're gonna think she's one of us. But then this is when, man, I'm almost about to tear up right now just thinking about it. It always makes me tear up when, in a way, the sign of their friendship, which I mentioned earlier in the review. The thing is, they take off the bandages, and what you see on their forearms is an X. And essentially, they do a little flashback, and they say, this X is a sign of our friendship. And Vivi, I don't know how, but somehow sees them showing their right arms, and she does it as well as Karu, and just the visual of that. Damn, man, it just hit me. It just hit me. And to say that was honestly the perfect way to end the Alabasta arc, and really the Alabasta Saga in general. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. And after that, after I watched that for the first time, I was like, bro, this is my favorite arc, dude. This is my favorite arc. I'm trying, like, right now, I'm trying to hold back the tears. Just talking about it makes me freaking water up right now. But just seeing this moment, seeing the fact that they did a princess, albeit when we find out later who's in the world government thing, gets help from this pirate crew. And they are being friends. Man, it's something, man. It's something.
Mm-hmm.
It just hit me. It hit me so freaking hard. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, I still remember that moment. My goodness.
Yeah. Now, a little close up of post Alabasta before we get into Jaya, which will be next week. Honestly, since this video took forever, we're probably gonna upload. I'm probably gonna upload this video tomorrow. But the thing is, it seems everybody's all depressed, which is really Nami, Sanji, Chopper, Usopp, and Luffy. They're all depressed that Vivi's not coming with them and they're not gone. And the fun fact, Zoro's like, you should have just forced her to come with us anyways, which I would have been laughing if they just took her against her will. They do make these, the first things first, they make these indirect comments to Zoro by saying like these rude things. Everybody says rude things, but Luffy over here is like, three sword style. And I'm like, isn't that a compliment? Now in the meantime, one, we see a certain character join their ship and is on there. Then they see all Miss Sunday, and they see Robin on the ship. And at first they're all hostile. They're like, "What are you doing here?" And stuff like that. Now Robin's like, "Oh, I'm here because your captain made me come here. This is his sin, and this is his punishment." And Luffy's like, "What are you talking about?" And Robin's like, "Well, I just asked you to just let me die, but you didn't. So yeah, your problem is me now, so you're gonna have to be dealing with me now." So this is when Robin officially joins the crew in probably one of the weirdest ways to join the crew, and the fact that she's blaming Luffy for all this stuff, even though he saved her life.
Mm-hmm.
Each crew member has a moment with her, and they eventually all grow to like her. Now, Zoro is the only one on the crew that is still kind of suspicious of her and kind of doesn't exactly trust her. So that little false trust kind of leads into the future arcs going forward and stuff like that. Yeah, we got a new crewmate. So it does replace Vivi, even though when I was looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't replace Vivi entirely. But yeah, when we get future to the arc, she much as well compensates for Vivi's departure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, actually, since we're done talking about the Alabasta arc, now if you want, and I actually forgot to bring this in my East Blue Sea Saga review as well. Now, if you want to see Alabasta, just the Alabasta arc in I guess you want to see everything that happens in Alabasta in less than an hour, then watch I think 30 plus episodes of that arc. You can watch movie 7, which is an hour-long version of the retelling of the Alabasta arc. Now, some things are not in the movie that were in the original source material in the arc. Like I think Ace is not in there. I don't know. But if you do want to see the movie, please go buy it officially. I actually have a copy of the movie. It's actually somewhere in Connecticut with my school because I had to leave early. I actually got the DVD. I found it off Amazon and I got it off there. So if you want to get movie 7, go ahead. It's in English dub and subbed. So yeah. Like I said, if you want to watch the movie in a 1 hour, I guess, retelling of the Alabasta arc to save you all that time, even though some things are taken out, I will say the animation is really good because it's technically a movie budget. It's a really good animation. Maybe you want to do the movie reviews for One Piece, which I plan on doing. I'll probably review that movie. I'll have to watch it again. I'll have to somehow find a way to get my hands on it again. But yeah. Now there is one interesting like new thing that happens in that movie that isn't shown in the anime or even in the manga. I believe. And the thing is, obviously, people are asking, so how did Robin even get on the Going Merry to begin with? So in movie 7, at the end, you see obviously Robin, an injured Robin who probably walked like half the distance through Alabasta. And you see her literally right next to the docked Going Merry. And she looks at the ship. And then if you know the flashback of Robin, you get the flashback of when the main important character in her life kind of told her, you'll find friends to accompany you on the sea that will care about you and be legit friends. And which and makes her go on the Going Merry and hide out there. And that's how she ends up on the Going Merry. So that's how it's explained. I will say that's the one thing I did like about the movie. Even though the movie, in my personal opinion, sucks other than the animation, because they've taken so many things out of the movie. Honestly, if you ask me, the most accurate retelling or rephasing of an entire arc is probably episode of East Blue and episode of Sabo. They really retell those story arcs for all those characters really well. Episode of Skype and movie 7, yeah, they're not good. But still, it's like I said, it was a nice little thing they put in the movie that I was like, oh, that's how Robin got on the ship. So it explains a lot. I still say check it out. I still think animation wise, it's still pretty good. Even though they do cut some things on and they kind of skip along a lot because listen, they're trying to fit a whole arc with 30 plus episodes into 1 hour. I don't think you can do that.
Well, if they could do that, it would probably be as long as Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours.
Even more.
Anyways, yeah, this is where we're gonna cut it short. This video is probably gonna be like an hour and almost 30 minutes.
Short?
I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but
Did you say short? Did you just say?
Yeah. Like I said, we talk so much about this arc because we enjoy this arc. We love this arc. This arc is one of our favorite arcs. Next week, well, first, let's rank the arcs. I think it's without a shadow of a doubt, Alabasta arc in the Alabasta Saga is definitely number 1. I think we can say that for both of us. Drum Island is number 2. Little Garden is number 3. Whiskey Peak is 4. And Reverse Mountain is 5. So obviously, I go the reverse opposite. I don't know if that's your standings as well.
Yeah. I'd say it's about the same. I'd say it's about accurate for me too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely we went the reverse order of how the arcs go in terms of our favorite to least favorite. But the Alabasta Saga, still, despite the arcs we didn't like, it's a thumbs up in the right direction. And I'm enjoying, and at this point, I'm enjoying One Piece and I want to see more. Now, next week, we're going to get into an arc where it's not my favorite. Honestly, to say that when I first watched it, I didn't like it at all, it's an understatement. Now, I've grown appreciation for these 2 arcs, which we'll be talking about next week. And that is the Jaya and Skypiea arc. Yeah, as you can tell, me and Denzel, we are not we really don't like these arcs. Now, I don't know in the case of Denzel if he's grown at least in a certain amount of appreciation or respect for the arc. I have personally, I still don't like it, but at least I can be like, at the end of the day, it was still fairly decent for what we got. I still don't like it though. And mostly we can talk into our issues when we get to that arc next week.
I start to question if the story would play out the same way without the Skype arc.
Yeah, all I know is Skypiea is one of the more controversial arcs in One Piece. Some people don't like it. Some people absolutely hate it and think it's garbage. Well, you have some people who love it and stuff like that. But next week, this is when we get revealed into a new territory in One Piece, as well as we run into a certain character that Ace is looking for. Yeah. But that's all next week, not this week. Anyways, we don't want to keep you here longer. I thought I was going to upload this video Sunday night, but it seems like this video is going to be going up Monday morning. So obviously you guys will be seeing this Monday morning. So if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Alabasta arc, as well as the Alabasta Saga as a whole. And what was your favorite arc out of this saga? And did you see movie 7? Like to know that. So yeah, and also hit the subscribe button to not only get more One Piece arc reviews every freaking Sunday or Monday morning, depending how long the videos are. We'll bring them to you as best as we can. Again, well, and then also another thing, I also do review the One Piece anime. If you want to get my thoughts on what's currently going on in the Wano arc and the anime, hit the subscribe button and you'll get weekly, every Saturday reviews of a One Piece anime. I don't do the manga chapter reviews because I'm not caught up with the manga and I don't want to. But yeah. And then again, I just got to plug this in because I just got to say, like I said, I mentioned this earlier in the video, but yeah, I'm starting school tomorrow. So if you are subscribed to me or if you do plan on subscribing, just to let you know, I'll try to get videos out as fast as I can. There's no guarantee because with school, I'm back to being a busy guy. So yeah, I'll try to do the best I can, as well as try to get in contact with Denzel, see set up times and stuff like that. We'll probably have to create a good schedule and see if time management is a thing for us, because I know we're both starting school for our senior years of college, which I'm very excited for. Yeah, so that's just a quick update to let you guys know if you're wondering, hey, why hasn't this video came out? Now you know why. So other than that, we're gonna get out of here. It's been a long night. I'm probably gonna go play, surprisingly, Fortnite for the first time.
Don't give in to the dark side, man. Don't give in to the dark side.
But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys are having a great rest of your night, evening, or day whenever you're checking out this video. So till then, guys, this has been Chem315
and TheRedWolf.
And we'll see you guys next week for Jaya and Skypiea, respectively, their arc reviews. And excuse you to Denzel. You guys take care and be safe out there. Peace.